this has been a crazy, crazy year. From California to El Salvador to Brazil, this year has been nothing short of wild, chaotic, dramatic, and very exciting. So I want to take the time to make this recap video for you guys and just give you a rundown on this insane journey that I've been on and show you exactly where we started at the beginning of 2024 and how it's all led us to this moment right now. So I started this year in El Salvador. I brought in the new year in El Salvador and I had one goal. My goal was to surf for fun. El Salvador was like my sanctuary. It was the place that I really learned how to surf for the first time. It was the place that I got connected to the ocean, connected to the environment and nature. And that was the place that I was like, I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna enjoy the ocean, I'm gonna have fun. And none of my plans worked out the way that they were supposed to. Everything was flipped on its head. Everything changed in a matter of a second and nothing went as planned. Last year in October, I took a trip to Indonesia and I actually tore my knee, which ended up, that trip being one of the worst experiences of my life. I can dive into that later. But that trip actually is what led me to where I am today. At the end of 2023, I had a plan to go to Brazil, do a quick training, go back to El Salvador. But when I tore my knee, all that got canceled. 2023 was out and my trip got pushed to 2024. So I recovered my knee in Los Angeles. I went back to El Salvador and the plan at the beginning of 2024 was to go to Brazil, have a little training trip, and then come back to El Salvador. But it did not also work out that way. So like I said before, my plan was to come here to Brazil for 10 days, go back to El Salvador, and then go back to California and do the same TV producer life, the same job, life, normal thing that I've been doing for the past 10 years, but that did not go as planned. What actually started as a very short trip to Brazil turned into a life-altering, life-changing decision of me actually moving to Brazil, competing in Brazil, and staying in Brazil and changing my whole life to become a professional surfer.
Living in Brazil.
So around all the time that this was happening, I also found out some really interesting information about the ISA Surfing Games. If you don't know what the ISA Surfing Games are, it's an international surfing competition where all of the different countries come together twice a year to compete against each other. And if you are so lucky to be able to join a country and compete for them, you get to compete against the rest of the world. It's different than the Olympics, but these are the Olympic qualifiers. So I found out this really interesting piece of information. I will tell you guys more about that in the next few videos. But after I found out this information, my whole life changed. My new goal was very, very clear. It was to quit my whole life, my job, everything I had ever known, to train full-time and compete in the ISA Games. point where I had to go all in because that was the only option. I made the choice at this point to push myself to the extreme, to train, to compete, to do everything that you needed to do to be a high-level athlete. It was a choice that I intentionally made to go from surfing for fun to really embracing the grind of an athlete's life. And I know some of you out there are like, this girl is crazy. Why are you doing this? You know, you should only be doing this if you've surfed since you were 3 years old. But I'm also out here to prove to everyone and myself and all of you guys that if you want to do something, then you should just go for it. You shouldn't just say, oh, I'm too old, my time has passed. Like, that's not true. That is not true at all. If you want to do something, just do it. The next 6 months was a whirlwind of early mornings, highs, lows, all of the things that you could ever imagine. Then it came to contest preparation and the contests and the mental side behind surfing. I decided I needed to get some competition experience. I knew that my skill level was not where it needed to be to enter a contest, but for what I'm trying to do, I need to increase my skill level and increase my competition experience at the same time so that when they both grow, I'm where I need to be for a contest to happen and for me to do well in a contest. So through all this, I started entering surf contests, and that was an experience of its own. So after enduring a freezing tundra winter in Brazil, I decided to go back to where it all started, El Salvador. El Salvador has some of the most perfect waves that I have ever seen in my whole life and maybe in the world. After doing all this practice in the pool and with my coach, it was the perfect place to go to practice my maneuvers on the waves and take it to the next level. So then I landed here where I currently am in California. Looking back at this whole year, and I'm not biased about it, but I have to say that I'm really proud of myself for how far I've come, how much I've trained, and how much I've grown as a surfer and a person. This year for me was not just about surfing, it was about personal growth. I started the year thinking I would just be here in my comfort zone, but the year had other plans for me. It pushed me to dream bigger, work harder, and embrace change. And of course, I could not have done any of this by myself. To my coaches, all my friends who have helped me with filming and editing and consultation and learning how YouTube works. It is not an easy world, you guys, but if you're out there, stick with it. All the people who have helped me start making this fun little YouTube channel for you guys. I love you all, you know who you are, and I'm eternally grateful for all of you guys in my life. And thank you endlessly to the surf communities in Brazil and El Salvador. Your support has meant everything to me this year, and I'm so excited to keep the stoke alive with you guys. So as 2024 comes to a close, I feel more motivated than ever. I have huge plans for 2025, you guys, and I really do feel like all of this has been building up to something incredible. This year, I plan to make my way one step closer to competing in those ISA games. I plan to compete a lot, to take road trips, to visit new surf breaks, to have new experiences, improve my surfing a lot, grow personally, and I cannot wait to share all those adventures with you guys. Here is to 2025, a year of greater challenges, bigger waves, bigger achievements, and more success. Thank you all for being a part of this journey, and I'm so excited for what's next.